So, usually when you think of archangels in another tradition that doesn't have the same kind of hierarchy, where the hierarchy is such that there is a Godhead and then servants of light below the Godhead, in some of these other traditions where the cosmology is different, the archangels are simply given the roles of higher gods. They are said to be the embodiment of the virtue powers that the meditator is cultivating. These different archangels that act as the virtuous gods of many tradition are reflected in the material universe by the stars. The idea is that these virtues, these qualities are unwavering. They are eternal. All you have to do is look up and there they are. The sky might be cloudy. You can't see them, but that light is still there. So the archangels in these other traditions were seen as the embodiment of these virtues, these undying spiritual virtues that assist the universe in maintaining its structural integrity. The virtues are said to be geometrically harmonious, where vices and hurtful energies are geometrically chaotic. So the universe's structure is said to be reinforced and made auspicious and healthy through these eternal emanations of virtue energy radiated by the stars. There are the stars that are above the horizon line. There are the stars that are below the horizon line. And many of these non-Abrahamic traditions have gods that are a part of the underworld. They rule over the various levels of the unconscious and the spiritual unconscious, if you will. And they are said to be protectors of the Dharma. They defend the spiritual infrastructure from those that would seek to diminish it. Now, in the Abrahamic system, such beings would be described as demons, archdemons specifically. So you have archangels, archdemons, higher and lower. But in these non-Abrahamic traditions, they are simply higher and lower gods, generators of virtue and beings that protect that virtue. The angels and demons, which are lower in this hierarchy than the archdemons and archangels, or archdemons and archangels, however you want to say it specifically. And there's different esoteric meanings behind those pronunciations. Some people will say archangels, some people will say archangels. And we'll get into that once we're finished this point. Those are seen as the beings that are higher up in the hierarchy. The angels and the demons in the non-Abrahamic traditions, these are the beings of the earth whom have made themselves resonant with either a higher star or a lower star, and they become a living earth avatar whom represents either the higher realms or the lower realms. So the angels and the demons, different from the archangels and the archdemons, these beings were said to be the divine earthly embodiments of those higher and lower forces. So think of a being whom ascends and becomes some kind of spiritual teacher or guru. This would be an earth angelic, a lesser archangel. Think of a being whom cultivates their spiritual power through working with the lower stars. Well, they would be a demon on the earth. So the archangels, the archdemons are connected to the archetypes. They're the collective expression, where the ordinary angels and demons, these are the more reduced expressions. So this is how this was observed on the earth. Keep in mind, if you look at a certain culture, perhaps the yogic culture, the Hindu culture here is useful to observe. One of the common ideas that is associated with the pantheons in the yogic and the Hindu systems is the following, that these gods, many of them, physically existed on the earth. Many of them did not necessarily claim to have special divine power. They had a process, they had a spiritual path, and they taught this path to the humans so others could be like them. This idea of a god being a human who has awakened. This is very common in more Eastern traditions. In a more free-thinking Abrahamic model, it would be said that this is a human who realized their divinity and has become once more like the angelics. So this is a way you can understand the difference between archangel, archdemon, and those other orders of ordinary angel and ordinary demon. One is more archetypal, the other is more densified and specific in its vibration, more terrestrial.